Join WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas live Friday night, October the 19th at MWF Studios in Melrose, Massachusetts for Memories and Legends. Admission to the television taping is free. In October, we'll be launching an interactive Indiegogo campaign for fans from around the world to help fund our production. Plus, for fans live, Tony will be available for autographs and pose photos for a moderate fee. Visit BostonWrestling.com for complete information in the coming days. Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Tony, Mr. USA Atlas. How y'all doing out there?
Before we get to the news, some topics of discussion, check out some offers from our great friends. We'll be right back. Are you part of a nonprofit organization, a youth group looking to raise cash for your cause? Stay tuned at the end of this video to learn how you can bring the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation to your town live, featuring the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Infinity Key, a truly natural online language training experience. 25,000 minutes, that's what you'll need to invest. Invest 25,000 minutes with Infinity Key, and we'll build you a portfolio of language experiences designed to accelerate your personal progress. The coach will help you strike the right balance between passive acquisition and active application of your target language. InvestKey's algorithms and coaches guide you along the clearest, quickest path forward on your journey to fluency. Visit www.infinitykey.rocks for more information and follow Infinity Key on Facebook at facebook.com/InfinityKey.
They're ready to take their rightful place amongst the literary greats. Who, you ask?
The New Day!
That's who. It's the Book of Booty. Shake it, love it, never be it. It's the feel-good story of the rise of the New Day. Loaded with games, trivia, coloring pages, and so much more. The Book of Booty. Shake it, love it, never be it. Available now online or wherever books are sold.
Wrestling fans, check out our friends at Performa's state-of-the-art WWE Superstar and Legends Shaker Cups. They're 100% leak-free and shatter-resistant, guaranteed. Mix your powder using Performa's patented action rod technology. Check out new superstars just added to the collection at performabrand.com. I've had one on my desk every day since testing it out. Select your favorite WWE shaker. You'll be using yours every day, too.
Corpus Christi on Saturday, September 15th.
Burn it down!
It's WWE Live with an explosive main event as Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman collide for the Universal Championship. And Ronda Rousey makes her WWE debut in Corpus Christi when she takes on Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. Plus, don't miss Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins battle Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre in a tag team match. It's WWE Live in Corpus Christi, Saturday, September 15th. Tickets and VIP packages are available.
See the moments.
Generation X invades WCW.
You'll always remember. Like never before.
Occupy Raw has taken over.
With Raw, the first 25 years, packed with rare photos, profiles of your favorite superstars, and so much more. From the very first Raw to the 25th anniversary, it's the ultimate guide to WWE's flagship show. Raw, the first 25 years. Available now.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans from around the corner and around the world, welcome to another special edition of Memories and Legends. I'm Dan Marotti, joined by a man that's a shoo-in for almost any Hall of Fame he wants to join. Two-time Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Tony, we're back at it again here. It's the fall season now. The time is just going by. We really don't change our clothes that much. We're having a lot of fun.
You don't change your underclothes?
I'm not going to go there, Tony. That's too private. But we enjoy
Well, that's a big problem in the world today.
people that don't change their underwear.
No, there's people in this world, you may not believe me, that is wasteful. They take a shower every day. Now, who got to do that much washing? If you take a shower twice, maybe pushing it 3 times a year, that's okay.
2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah,
Okay,
save
well,
water.
you know,
We wasting water, all that water
How
going down.
often do you bathe, Tony?
Well, my wife makes me do it every day. I don't like that.
7 days a week.
Well, yeah, when I come home.
Twice on Sunday.
Well, she won't let me in the bed unless I get in the shower
All
first.
right, well, that may be a little bit too intimate for memories and legends.
There's something
Although
wrong.
I heard Mrs. Atlas said you were a legend, but that's a different story for a different time.
She always make me wash up and stuff. I don't know why she do that.
Well, you don't want to be called Vader, right?
Oh, that's true.
All right, Tony. The fans have asked for it now for months on Twitter over at MWF Project X. They want to hear about this great experience, this interesting experience called Legends House, a reality show that ran. He taped it in 2012. It ran. It was one of the programs that helped launch WWE Network in the spring of 2014. You were one of 8 interesting housemates. Let's talk a little bit about Legends House, Tony. Who reached out to you? For the fans that aren't at home, that may know nothing about Legends House, let's go that route. Who reached out to you at Legends House? You're at home up in Maine, the phone rings, what do we got?
Well, most of the time, the guy that do most of the phone calls to guys that's no longer in the business is Howard Finkel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he would give you a call, and he would tell you, give you the breakdown and see if you're interested. If you are, then what they do, they send you a contract, you sign the contract, and then the rest is, you know, they figure. But Howard was the one that called me. Now, who called the other guys, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you received the call from Howard. What was the pitch? It's a reality show where you're going to live in the house with 7 other guys for
pretty much.
How long of a period of time was it?
Well, they wanted to do 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it was 1 month, but then they pushed they added another 2 weeks on it because there was some more stuff they want to add to it. But as the show got going, then they started thinking of new ideas to do for the show.
Mm-hmm. Was it a good money offer?
Yeah, very good.
What'd
The
you
money,
get?
the money was
What did they
very
offer
good.
for that?
Huh?
What did they offer for it?
Well, I'm not, by contract, I can't say it.
Really? There's a non-disclosure involved.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, one thing, I don't know if you and I technically agree on it, but I think one thing that has really hurt the guys over the years is that they don't talk about the finances as much
That's
as
been like
you
I
see
say at the beginning of the business. One wrestler don't tell another wrestler what they make simply for this reason. It create animosity.
It could also create negotiating power. Though.
Well, that was with the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan slipped, said something interesting. He said, "I'm getting $1 million for this match." Where the Warrior getting $300,000 for the match, something like that. Whatever it was not less than what Hogan.
Much less. Yeah.
So he held the company up, and he want the same money Hogan get, and it would call animosity. How would you like to wrestle me, and I'm getting $3,000 for the match, and you the main event too? You had just as much to do with drawing the house as I did, and you're getting $1,000.
But do you think it's hurt the wrestlers' bargaining power over the years where they don't disclose it? Like Major League Baseball, every player knows what every player makes in Major League Baseball. You have something to negotiate with as a free agent. No, not when you're a free agent. You're a one-man negotiating machine that can go to 30-some-odd different teams to try and negotiate a contract.
But see, that's why it's hard for wrestlers to negotiate something.
Because they don't know how much the other guys are getting.
Exactly. But the reason that it will create animosity, I don't know about football player, but among wrestler, it will. I've seen it done. Among wrestler, it would create animosity among the boys. Secondly of all, what a lot of wrestlers do, and I'm guilty of it too, once we get into the wrestling world, we don't think about anything else.
Maybe you should.
Exactly. Johnny Weaver told me one time, said one of the biggest problems with wrestlers, when they're making money, they don't think about the money they could be making.
Exactly.
Hulk Hogan was the first wrestler to break that trend. Really, it was Terry Funk. We made Paradise Island and stuff, but he didn't take it as far as Hogan. But Hogan broke that trend where he could show wrestlers. Before Hogan, wrestler didn't do nothing but wrestle. That was it. So they didn't want any problem with other wrestlers. They didn't want any problem with the promoter. So that's why they kept it that way. But now wrestlers do talk about what they say. Mark Henry, I hear him talk about what he made. I hear other wrestlers mention because the wrestlers need to learn to develop. My mother used to say, a smart rebbe had more than one hole to run into. Never put all your eggs in one basket, you know? And that's what wrestlers do. They put all the eggs in one basket. So when that basket dropped, they got no more eggs. With a wrestler, they got the opportunity to do other things. I've noticed John Cena is making movies.
Yep.
And, well, take The Rock. What if Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, had just concentrated on nothing but wrestling? That he couldn't see himself doing nothing but wrestling.
I think he would have grown stale if he just stayed with wrestling.
He would
That's
not
one
be
man's
where
opinion.
he would definitely would not be where he's at today.
Sure, absolutely.
And he wouldn't have the revenues he got.
No,
the
definitely
revenue
not.
would not be over. The same thing with Hogan, but Hogan was the one that broke that glass ceiling. He got involved in things, and then other wrestlers started getting involved in other things other than wrestling. Like Dallas Page decided he could start his own yoga company, Power Yoga, and he's very successful at it. And there's other wrestlers that have went into other businesses, you know, other than wrestling, and became very, very successful. You take like Kane, of all people. Who would think that Kane,
Great human being.
would become Mirror?
Great human being. Well, he
Yeah,
hasn't
wonderful
won
person.
yet, but
Yeah, and then you take
when
Jesse
we
the
take
Body
this, yep.
Ventura, broke that ceiling where wrestlers could go from wrestler into politics.
Tony, you've talked now for 5 minutes, and you haven't even come close to answering the question.
What's the question?
Do you think it hurts the guys?
I told you
bargaining
no,
power?
and I was
No,
trying to
how
explain
can
why.
you say no? If you knew how much, just say Howard Finkel was making $2 grand more than you were for doing Legends House. Could you not push for a little bit more money?
No, because
What
you
do you
don't
mean,
understand.
no?
Because wrestlers are independents.
I understand that, but if you knew what others were getting, it would help you know where you were on the food chain when it comes to that
That
show.
sound normal to you, but to me, you're becoming a shit disturber.
But wouldn't you like to know?
No.
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
You know what? I tell you this, Tony. I met you my very first day in professional wrestling, October 23rd, 1993, right down the street in Wakefield, Massachusetts for Tony Rumble. And I tell you this, I've experienced a lot, I've seen a lot, I've done a lot with WWE, with our own promotion, with Tony Rumble. I don't understand how you guys comprehend the finances behind it. It drives me insane. I think you guys, and I mean no disrespect, you know I think so much of you as a human being, but I don't understand how you guys continue to shoot yourselves in the foot when it comes to the finances.
You're going to be sitting home.
What do you mean?
See, in the olden days, you can negotiate with the promoter.
Right.
And the promoter would give you more, but with wrestlers, if you give one wrestler a bid for one wrestler, if you bid for one wrestler with negotiation, you're going to have a whole group the next day. So how the promoter keep the wrestlers, because you got to realize wrestlers are individuals. They're only there for themselves. It's not like a team. See, a team will root you on for more. A wrestler will go cut your throat to keep you from getting more and win brownie point. You set yourself up not to be disliked by the promoter, but also disliked by the wrestler, because now you're giving them a weapon to use against you. Hey, that kid making good money. I don't know why he's complaining. If I was making that much money, I would. Brother, you got no idea. It's a whole new ball game. See, if the best way to look at wrestlers is this. John Cena is McDonald's. Hulk Hogan is Burger King. Tony Atlas is Wendy. They individual businesses.
I understand
individual.
that. I
so
understand that.
That's why we could never get a union going. Because the guy that making a $500,000 a year can give a red ass about the guy making $50,000 a year. And they program that way. That's what make the business work. Once guys started negotiating what they want to the promoter, he no longer have control. And the promoter, how he controlled all these wrestlers. See, that's what Vince was so smart about. It was bad for us guys, and we helped them do it. He put other companies out of business so he can have more control over the wrestlers. Because now, if you say no to Vince, you go home.
Right.
Years ago, the reason I could walk out on Vince, because I had other places I could go. The football players, they could do it because they got other teams they could go to. They could do it because they got other places to go. If you give Vince McMahon crap, where you going to go? Ring of Honor?
Well, no, you're 100%
Where you going to go?
right.
You go home. So Vince do not have to. The business itself is not in that predicament. They don't have to listen to you.
Well, look at it right now, Tony. As we're
It never
taping
work.
this program,
It would never work.
The big news broke that SmackDown Live in 2019 is going to leave the USA Network and it's going to go to the Fox Television Network. A huge jump for SmackDown to be on network television for over $200 million a year. A huge jump in the revenue from the television deals just in the United States. That doesn't even include international. You're telling me that there's no bargaining position for the boys if they banded together? No. Well, if they have no product to put on television, what would they do on SmackDown for 2 hours each
that's
week?
the thing about wrestlers. There is always somebody somewhere that would do it for a lot less.
Absolutely, I'll agree with you on that one.
There's always somebody that would do it for a lot less. That I may say no to $100,000 a year, but that guy sitting over there, somebody offered $100,000 a year and put him on TV and tell you you're going to make you into a king, he's gone. You are too easily replaced. That's why wrestling, because there's no unity among wrestlers. Wrestlers are not friends. They are business associates. Tony Atlas is not a person. Anthony White is the person. Tony Atlas is my company. Hulk Hogan is not a person. Hulk Hogan is a company. John Cena is not a person anymore. John Cena, that brand is a company. Just like President Trump, the name Trump is a company. It's worth money. So you don't. When you bargain alone. Whereas in football, you got backings. You got a team that depend on you. If Tom Brady decides I'm not going to play for this amount of money, or Gronkowski say I want more money, then the team is backing him because they don't want to lose Gronkowski. They need him for the team. Vince don't need no one individual for the show to work. The WWE is the superstar, and he can replace you in a drop of a hat, and the wrestling fan will not miss you one iota. You just be out in the cold. They won't miss you,
right,
brother.
well, how about this? WWE, it's a publicly traded company.
Right.
I think it's well known as far as the talent pool
Who
goes.
was AJ Styles before Vince took him?
You're correct.
See?
But about 8% of the gross goes to the talent. There is not another sport, there is not another entertainment entity that is paying 8% of the gross to their talent. Why do the wrestlers, the boys as we call each other in the industry, the superstars as some fans may recognize them, why do they continue to accept that when they see the revenue continue to grow? About a year ago, WWE was a $20 stock. Right now, it's traded as high as $74 the week we're taping this program. Why do the talent continue to accept that?
8%.
Why not band together and get 20% of a pool for the talent, or a quarter of the pool for the talent?
Wait, here's the difference between WWE and the NFL.
Sure.
The NFL is domestic.
Okay.
WWE is international.
Okay.
So 8% of the world is not a bad paycheck. 8% is still, in dollars and cents, more than the 40 or 30% that the MFL plays. The MFL got 6 months to make money.
Yeah.
WWE got 12 months to make money. So even though it's 8%, the paycheck that this guy is getting is still more. Like a guy may get a $6 million contract for a period of 4 years. Well, Mark Henry makes that.
How much?
Mark Henry was making $1 million, $1 million for how many years? For 14 years.
He wasn't $1 million guy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he did.
Come on. He might have had a couple $1 million years when he was on top. When he signed his initial contract in 1996,
they cut it in half. He's making $500 now. They cut it in half.
No, it was $250,000 a year, Tony. When
they cut him down to that.
That's what it was originally when he signed in 1996 out of the Olympics. It was 10 years, $250,000 a year.
But that's
and they cut down on that because he really needed a lot of work.
But see, what do people don't say? That's his guarantee.
Right.
But his take home was over $500 because
when he became a top guy, sure.
But no, because there's other things that bring you money in that other
Tony,
than
I understand
that
the
don't
revenue
interfere
streams,
with the
Tony.
rest of Like Mark Henry get royalty checks from
I
everything.
understand that.
And when you add all that together, in the long run, he make more money for a longer period of time than what an MFL player would make. Yes. Yeah.
I think the best way to describe this is that we respectfully disagree with each other. How about that?
Well,
my good friend Tony Atlas.
That is quite all right, but I know that wrestlers make a lot of money that is not included in the contract.
I understand that 300%, but what I'm saying is if 8% of the revenue is going to the talent, I think that is, and I have a, you don't understand how wrong it is for me to say this on camera. I think it's unjust that the talent gets only 8% of the gross.
13.
It was 8% in last year's.
Mark Henry told me 13.
Well, they have to release the numbers to the, the stock investors when they have those quarterly meetings. So even 13% is pretty low. If you look at any sports team, you're talking about half the gross is going to the talent, the players in some way, shape, or form. Why are wrestlers not getting 50? Why are they getting, we'll go with your number, I'll go with 13. That's still shitty.
Not when you get that check.
It's not. But, okay, that's fine. It is for a heck of a lot of money. It's a great living. I understand that. I'm not disagreeing with that, but why isn't it more? Why isn't it more on par with other forms of sports and entertainment that they want to be? They want to be sports and entertainment.
How many football players you know could play football for 20 years?
None.
They have to get all they can as quickly as they can. That's why their percentage is bigger. A wrestler got more longevity. So by the time a wrestler career is over with, he don't make more money than this guy. Plus, he get royalties long after his career is over, and he can make money in other things after his career is long over. Look at me. I started wrestling in 1973.
Right.
This is 2018.
Believe it or not.
And I'm still making money on what I did 20 years ago.
And that's a great thing.
A football player, when his career ends, he do nothing else. Very few of them do anything after football.
Right. Yeah, they're kind of limited.
Yeah, they're limited. So they have to get what they can as quickly as they can. Life expectancy of a football player, Tom Brady is amazing, you know. Well, look at Gronkowski. How many years do you think this poor guy gonna make it? Even him now is thinking about going into wrestling.
I know, right? That'd be
because he ain't thinking about going in up there. He's thinking about going into wrestling. But in reality, there's a lot of stuff that the company have to pay for that to help promote this wrestling.
I agree.
You may say that Mark Henry will be getting $250,000 a year, which I don't believe. But because
he didn't start to get a big push in WWE until 2006. That was the first time he did anything of any meaning, was when he did his program with Undertaker, when they worked at a WrestleMania. He was nothing more than an undercard or a mid-card guy for the first decade.
Henry?
Mark Henry. Can you name me anything Mark Henry did other than the Mae Young hand incident before 2006?
He was with, what's the name, Ron Summers and them. He's been there for, what, 15 years?
The Nation of Domination?
Yeah.
He was the undercard guy. What was he getting for a house show payoff? $500 a night?
No, you got more than that.
What were the undercard guys getting for a house show payoff in 1996, 1997?
The lowest paid guy during that time was
about $100,000 downside guarantee.
Yeah, the lowest
right.
paid. The lowest paid, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He wasn't making any more than
guys
that. He was an undercard guy.
Like $250. But see, that just with the that's not including merchandise and other stuff. That's just his guarantee.
No,
that's
I
what people don't understand. That's what is on paper.
Right.
But there's a lot of, as we call, under the.
I get that too. I understand.
When they say him overseas, you know, that ain't, a lot of that stuff ain't counted that overseas stuff. I don't be saying this on TV, you know. Like Japan, you know, guys that went to Japan, we used to tape money to us, brother. You don't see, you're gonna get me to say stuff that the all the boys get back.
Shows are so much.
Yes, a lot of under the table for the stuff they don't have to report.
That's it.
I mean, the guys go to Japan and stay a month and come back with $50,000. We used to tape it to our body. I mean, I'd go there for 1 week. The guy gave me $20,000 for 1 month. And then the guy said, well, how you going to get that money back? Because we'll take to custom. Anything over $5,000, they're going to pay taxes on. We used to tape it to our body. Guy looked like duct tape. The guy said, what is that? Oh, I got an injury from last night. You know, I got this bad leg, you know. I got on an airplane, brother, with $10,000 taped to my leg, limping like I got a bad leg, so I get that money back to the state, and it's under the table.
It's a good thing
the government
TSA
never knew.
wasn't
The
around
government
then.
never. Well, I could tell them now because they can't prove it anyway. There's no paperwork.
Right.
There's a lot of money being given to the guys that is not on paper. That is just for his taxes.
I just think, Tony, it's,
I know, but you don't
before
know
we
the
go
whole
into
story.
Legends House, my final
Until
thought,
you work there.
and I'll let you I did work with my buddy Eddie Cohen.
I'm talking about as a wrestler.
Oh, well, not a wrestler.
Right. They would say you on a lot of stuff where you got paid and it had nothing to do with your contract.
I understand that, but
And everybody,
Tony,
and the restaurant wrestlers always take cash.
I'll let you have the final
You can't
thought.
chase cash.
I'll let you have the final thought out of respect to you as the veteran, as always. I just think the guys deserve a bigger part. Then I'll go with your 13% number. If there weren't wrestlers, there wouldn't be events, there wouldn't be television shows portraying wrestling slash
They do good.
sports entertainment.
Ain't nobody-
Your final thought.
I don't think anybody worked with the WWE got any complaint about anything. Because it's a year-round sport. And they build you in a way that if you use what you get, you could butter yourself in other things.
You can.
They're the most recognizable people on the planet. And because this guy don't try to promote himself as something else, that's not the company's fault. What happened with a pro football player when you no longer play football? He don't have nothing to fall back on. Every wrestler got something to fall back on.
So the wrestlers deserve less money because in the
No,
end they
they
can
don't
do
make less
independent
money. You
shows?
keep saying that. You only going by what's on paper. There's a lot of that stuff under the table. It's more under the table
You're
dealing.
the Hall of Famer.
Well,
You're the legend.
it's a lot more under the table stuff going on than what normal people got. But a lot of guys like it that way because they don't have to report it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I agree with you 100%.
If you make $500,000, at least $300 is Uncle Sam. You make it $200 anyway.
All right, so you got $5 grand.
Look at a
for
football player. He get $1 million a year. He's in a 90% tax bracket.
So you got $5 grand for Legends House.
Yep.
Ballpark? Am I close?
Yep. I was happy with that.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with
No.
$5 grand to sitting home with the guys for a month. Now, for the fans that didn't see the show,
And I'm
let's
still
kind of
getting
break
money.
it down.
They
It
ain't
was
stopped
you.
yet.
It was you, Roddy Piper,
Yep.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Pat Patterson, Mean Gene Okerlund, Hillbilly Jim, Jimmy Hart, and who am I forgetting? They were 8. I know they were 8. Did I say Mean Gene?
Just to correct, I got $9 grand.
Oh, all right. Now I'm happy for you.
Well, they add 2 more weeks to it.
So you got a bonus. I got you. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, Tony. I'm happy. I like it. You're making my night. Well, anyway, so the premise of this show was 8 WWE legends, most of which were Hall of Famers at the time.
All
lived
but
in this-
Hillbilly.
All but Hillbilly Jim.
He was the only
all
one.
lived in this house for 6 weeks. And you were involved in what I could only describe as nonsense every episode. I would have liked to have seen just the interactions about professional wrestling, but like a lot of reality shows, you know, they'd have you do competitions and different skits and things like that. What was your initial impression? What were you expecting when you arrived at that house in California? Did you even know ahead of time who you were going to live with?
What Vince told us to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted nobody in Legend House that knew each other. He didn't want Rocky Johnson or S.D. Jones or anybody that was a friend of mine. We all was complete strangers
Okay.
to each other.
Okay.
That's what made it the way it is. I never knew anything about Pat Patterson. I knew nothing about Hacksaw. I knew nothing about Piper. The only time I saw Piper and Hacksaw was in the ring. I didn't see them in regular life. I didn't hang out with them. They didn't hang out with me. In wrestling, they had cliques. So what Vince did, he picked guys that didn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of oddballs that nobody fit, if you ever noticed. Pat Patterson, there was nobody that fit him. There was nobody fit
Well, that's a
Tony
different
Atlas.
story for a
Nobody
different
fit
time.
him. When you look at the character, Hillbilly, you know, the Jimmy Hart.
It was a unique grouping.
Yeah, but what he did, he wanted it that way because he didn't want people that knew each other. I didn't know what your emotion was. I didn't know what made you happy. I didn't know what made you sad. I didn't know your likes. I didn't know your dislikes. I knew nothing about none of these guys. And that's what all of us said to it, what was so great about it for us guys. that we got to know each other on a personal basis for the first time in our life.
Did you know
And plus, he put all the people together that didn't like each other.
Did you know ahead of time who your housemates were going to be?
Nope.
So
knew nothing.
So they flew you from Portland out to Los Angeles, or it was in California, right? Mm-hmm. And you showed up at that house. And
Right.
what was your initial impression when you walked in? Was there anybody there yet? I don't
No,
remember.
I was the first one in.
Oh, you?
I was the first one in.
I wonder if that was done purposely.
Well, yeah, because towards the end, I was the first one to leave.
Right, yeah.
So we left the same way we came.
Yeah.
I was the first person in the building, and they kept us. We didn't know anything until the guy walked through the door. They had all of us at different hotel rooms.
What do you mean a hotel room? The night
Well,
before?
they
you'd
fly us
stay at
in
a
the night
hotel?
before. They flew guys in the night before.
Okay.
Before the taping. Then they would take me to a hotel room. They say each wrestler, they had 8 different hotels.
That's really interesting.
Eight different hotels.
I like that.
And then they would take you from the hotel to the house. That way we can't bump into each other. They didn't want us plotting. They didn't want us putting.
I like
They
the
didn't
thought
want us to
process
plot it.
behind it.
Vince wanted us all to do things. Just like when that girl came in to tell us what to do, nobody when we got up knew what we were going to do. We never knew anything until it actually happened. Like one time they told me we were going to play polo. Well, that scared the hell out of me. Because polo is played on a horse. And I got to looking at Mean Gene and Howie. The only one I wasn't afraid of riding a horse was probably Hillbilly Jim. But all I was thinking of, somebody going to get run over and killed by a freaking horse.
Mean Gene's not a spring chicken.
Well, yeah, but you put him on a horse, how you going to control the horse? He's going to run you over. Then I said, somebody going to get killed. We can't be riding a horse and playing polo on the back of a horse.
Right,
Then
right.
they take us to the tracks, and they let us watch the guy play polo on these horses. I'm sitting here scared to death. I said, I ain't getting on no freaking horse out there with these guys running at full gather, with a bunch of freaking senior citizens. Are you kidding me? Then they came out with the golf cart at the last minute. See?
All right, Tony, was there anybody that you were either happy or not happy to see once the full group of 8 assembled?
I didn't know none of them.
No, well, I mean, you know, you worked in
Well, that's the
locker rooms
problem.
with them.
No. In the locker room, everybody had. I was what you call a baby face.
Right.
Everybody there in the wrestling world was a heel
Right.
in the wrestling world.
All right, well, let me throw this one at you, for example, to try and maybe get my point across a little different. You worked a pretty decent amount with Roddy Piper back in the mid-'80s. Were
Yeah.
you happy to see Roddy as a housemate or not?
Not really. I didn't know him.
Well, you knew him from the locker room. You
No,
worked with him.
no, he was a heel. The baby face and heel dressed in separate locker room.
In the WWF in the mid-'80s, they were still doing
They
that?
were separate locker room.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you
They
knew
were
Roddy
separate.
to some degree. He turned
I
babyface down the road.
I knew nothing about Ronnie till about Roddy Piper. Ronnie Piper and Hacksaw could tell themselves with Ronnie K, but I have never said more than 2 words to Ronnie Piper the whole time that I was with the dad. I got on his show one time with me and Rocky Johnson when they had the Piper Pit. Ronnie didn't hang out with me. Ronnie
Well,
didn't have nothing to say to me.
The days of TV tapings, you were around each other for hours on end.
No.
No, all right.
No. You'd be surprised. They always kept us separated. And guys were not socializing with you. It's not like what you like the independent circus. A lot of guys look at pro wrestling and think they're the same independent. Everybody was in their little
Area of the building. What
Yeah.
about the Fink? You knew
Piper.
him. You knew the
Was
Fink.
with Howard in the office.
Right. Were you happy to see him or not?
Yeah, I was happy to see everybody there as far as happiness is concerned. But as far as knowing these guys, I never knew them.
I'm not asking about knowing. I'm asking about when you saw Hillbilly Jim walk in, what was in your mind, what were you thinking when you said, oh,
I'm gonna get hung.
you're going to get hung? What do you mean?
I'm black.
So you think Hillbilly Jim was after you
I
because you
just
were
want
black?
first thing that we all stereotype.
Okay.
Now
Now, why would Hillbilly Jim hang you?
Well, think about where from Kentucky, big old redneck, Dick Murdoch, rope, hang 'em, sundown town.
This is
all
great.
That, all
This
that
is
stuff
great.
went through my man with Hillbilly Jim. Because I remember when Haystack Calhoun used to walk around the dress room and give out poster for the KKK.
Haystacks Calhoun was in the
Haystack Calhoun,
KKK?
of course
really?
he was.
Well, I've heard some interesting
Shoot, half
stories
of the
about him.
when
but
I
never
started,
knew that.
half of the wrestlers was down in Charlotte. Half of them had claim card. A whole lot of them, some I won't mention. A lot of
Down
guys.
in the Charlotte territory?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Really?
A lot of them guys joined the claim. They say help with pocket tickets because half the police department was plainsmen.
Wow.
Yeah,
Never knew that.
I knew nothing
That's why
about
I
them
love
guys.
having you here, buddy.
See what they used to do. We had the babyface dressing room, the heel dressing room. The only person we knew was the referees. They would come over and they would say, Tony, this is what we're going to do. Now, what do you think? And then if I agree with it, they go back and they tell the guy I agree. If I disagree, they go back and tell the guy I disagree. Because that was during the time of what they call kayfabe.
Correct.
So we had to kayfabe each other. And if you notice, everybody that was in Legends House, they all played a heel, except for Jimmy Hart. He was the manager of Hulk Hogan.
Well, Jimmy Hart was a heel for almost his entire WWE
Except
run.
when he got with Hulk Hogan.
Well, he started in WWE in 1985, and he didn't turn babyface till 1993.
Right.
That's
So other
8
than
years,
him,
Tony.
everybody else, Pat Patterson was a heel, him and Ray Stevens,
Yeah,
the crippler. Hacksaw was always a heel, and then they changed him to a babyface. He was a heel with
Hacksaw was never a heel for one day in WWE.
not in WWE,
No,
but he
before,
started.
you're right,
Yeah. So he was pretty much a heel. Then they changed him babyface, gave him the USA gimmick.
And the 2x4,
Sergeant
yeah.
Slaughter started off as a heel, which he wasn't there. But Piper was always a heel. So I never spent any time with Piper. And back in them days, like I keep telling people, everybody had a clique.
Right.
Like when Piper was there, my running buddy was Rocky Johnson. When earlier, my running buddy was Rene Goulet and S.D. Jones. But I never hung out with Piper, never.
All right. I understand.
And that's why
that.
wrestlers don't, once they leave that dressing room, it's like water splattering.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, Tony.
Everybody go there separate. But then when they see each other, hey, brother, how you doing? I love you, brother, I love you. And then when the show is over,
Episode 1 saw you guys meet each other in the house for the first time, get acquainted, figure out what the living situation is going to be. How were the living situations figured out? Were you assigned a roommate? Or did you
You
kind
was
of
assigned.
Well, now, who was your roommate?
Mean Gene.
So what was it like living with Mean Gene Okerlund in the same bedroom for 6 weeks?
He was okay.
Yeah. He drank a lot?
Yeah, but he did that before he came to bed.
Yeah.
And
Before he didn't drink in his bed.
No, but he would sit at the bar and he would drink his drink and talk.
likes-
and then,
yeah, he likes
and then he would get up and he'd go to sleep and that was it. You know, it was nothing exciting about being with Mean Gene. I mean, he don't create
I sure hope not. I sure hope
he
Mean Gene
he didn't
throw
create
on
a
the
whole lot. He
sneakers and
didn't
do a
create
little
a whole
walking.
lot of excitement there for me. You know.
All right, well, did you get to know Mean Gene any better having him as a roommate?
Yeah, I did.
His favorite alcoholic beverage? Or?
Well, no, he's very neat, very
Is he a
neat
neat guy?
person.
Yeah.
He was very neat. What I liked about him, you know, he would use the toilet and then he would wipe the toilet off after he get through with it.
Considerate.
Yeah, he was very considerate. If he used the sink, if he brushed his teeth, he would clean the sink after he get through use the sink, and he would take his towels instead of hanging up on the thing, he would put it in the dirty clothes basket. He wouldn't leave a dirty towel laying out or nothing like that. He was very neat.
How
He
many
would get up every
bathrooms?
morning. He would make his bed in the morning.
Really?
All of his socks and everything was always in place. This was my side of the room, and he had his side of the room.
How many bathrooms did you have in the house?
Where each one of us there was a bathroom in every room.
Every bedroom, okay.
Yeah, and every bedroom had a bathroom to go with it, yeah.
Out of all the people that were there, would you have had a roommate that you would have preferred, or you didn't really care?
Not really. I didn't know
really
none
care?
of them. I didn't know about me. I mean,
So Mean Gene was a
I wasn't
decent
going to make
roommate.
love with him or nothing,
Yeah.
you know. So I
Did he
didn't-
try and make you a cocktail at all?
Oh no, Howard Finkelton was the bartender.
Howard was the
Howard
bartender,
was
really?
the bartender. Yeah, Howard was making margaritas every night. Margaritas, yeah, real margaritas every night.
All right, so the first episode, again, as we started to mention, you guys introduced each other to the house, figured out who your roommates were, and then towards the tail end of the show, you met Hollywood, I don't know if superstar is the right term, but at least a star, and Gary Busey came to visit the Legends house. Now, what was that experience like? From an eccentric
I always liked Gary Busey. That was
Yeah.
a great experience for me because he was one of my favorite actors.
Really?
Oh, I love Gary Busey.
Why do you like Gary?
He looked like Steve Ages. Steve Ages is the guy that got me started in bodybuilding.
Okay.
And Gary Busey looked just like my buddy Steve Ages. If you ever look at my book and look in the back and see a picture of me standing with Steve Ages, look just like
look
Gary
alike?
Busey, the
Okay.
blonde hair and everything. And I just always liked his character. You know, it was just something likable about him.
Mm-hmm.
I just always liked Gary Busey. You know.
Were you surprised that someone like Gary
course,
Busey showed
yeah.
up to have, I don't know if it was supper that he had with you?
The
or he hung-
breakfast.
Breakfast.
Yeah,
okay.
we had to do his yoga, humming.
Were you a yoga guy?
Yeah, we had to do that.
Did you turn into a yoga guy after that?
No. It was fun though.
One and done.
One time is enough.
All right. Well, we'll take that for what it is. How many days? Now you're talking about you fans when they watched it on WWE Network. It was a 30-minute show. You taped 9 episodes over the course of 6 weeks.
Oh, they got a lot of
How
stuff
many
they didn't show.
Yeah. How many days was it between you guys arriving at the house, for example, until you met with Gary? Was it the next day or? Because I imagine they must have a lot of footage. They never did anything.
It was probably like the third day, second or third
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
So what, for example, what would you do the first 3 days before you met up with them?
What I did, my schedule.
What was a regular day like for you guys?
I can't talk on the other guy. Everybody did something different. But
Oh, really?
my day,
Okay. Okay.
my day, because everybody was into something different. Pat Patterson would get up and eat his breakfast and play cards, him and Howard. I would get up, make me a protein drink. I'd go in the gym and work out. And then by the time I finished working out, that woman would come in, that girl would come in.
I think her name was Ashley.
Ashley would come in and call us all to the living room, and then we'd go out that day and we'd do something. Then we'd come back after we do something, and I would cook.
So was there an activity every single day for you
Every
guys?
day, every day, every
So they must
day.
have eliminated a lot of what you
A
guys
lot of
did
stuff
in
they
the editing.
didn't show.
Yeah.
We all say that. It's a lot of stuff. And you know one thing that they never showed?
What?
Me working out. I did it every day.
They didn't want to show off the guns.
No, the guy told me later, one of the producers, he said he wanted to show us the things that we couldn't do. He said it made it more interesting than showing us in things that we could do. Okay. So if you could do something real good, they wouldn't show it. They said they didn't want to show me because he said these his were. He said, because you were the only person that looked like you knew what you were doing. He said, that's why we didn't show you, because you knew what you were doing. And that was not the idea of the show. The idea of the show is to put us in predicaments and in things that we are not accustomed to.
I got you.
So anything that did, just like when they did the fight there with the
LARPing.
The LARPing. I won.
You were a LARPer.
Yeah, I won though.
You were the Tyro Man Larry Dunn of Legends House.
I became king. And you know what they try to do?
What do they try to do? Swerve it? Try and change the finish?
How do you know?
Hey, we've known each other 25 years, Tony.
They gave me a bow and arrow with big rubber tips on, with sponge tips on the end. Mm-hmm. And the way this lobster worked, they had like 30 people that going to charge the 8 of us. It was like 10 to 1 out there. And they charging me. So I I had 2 arrows. And 20 people. And they give me 2 arrows. Now what were they trying to
You
get?
were like Daryl in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, but so what do you think they were trying to do with me?
Trying to get you
To
eliminated, exonated
at
pretty
the
quick.
beginning,
Yeah,
quick. Yeah. So they gave me these 2 arrows. So I shot 1 arrow at the beginning. I missed. Then I grabbed my last arrow, and this guy was charging at me with this big club. So I shoot him in the chest. I pick up his club. I pick up his club. Nobody noticed. I changed weapons. So the idea was to kill the wizard. Now, they gave Roddy Piper a sword. They gave Roddy Piper a sword that stretched from here to that camera. You ever seen that thing he had?
Yeah, yeah.
They wanted him to win it. This is how I know. Once I hit the wizard and saved, what's her name there?
Ashley.
Ashley. See, I tried not to remember her name because I'm married. I didn't want no trouble with that woman. If you watch that tape, every time she came in that room, you know what I did?
You looked down.
I never looked at her. Look at the tape. You'll never see me look at that woman because I knew my wife going to be seeing this thing.
Yeah.
I don't want no trouble. I want to make my money and get on out of there. It's on tape, So anyway, if they say, oh, they killed the wizard, and I was back in the control room, I'm listening to them talking to the room, they just say, and Tony won, the promoter, the guy that, the director, Tony won, just like that. He said, yeah, Tony won. He said, well, we got to reshoot that. And they reshot it. But the reshoot was so fake looking, they went with the original.
Really?
They did not want me to win that.
All right, interesting.
Ain't that something?
Very interesting.
Ain't that something? They did not want me
Well,
to win
yeah,
that.
I imagine that Roddy Piper probably tried to negotiate himself into being the star of the show.
No, he didn't do
really?
that. They had it set up that way. I knew that by the posters they put out.
What do you mean?
Well, when the star would be here, it's a V.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a V. See? Like this.
Like a V, yeah.
The star would be right at the beginning, then the next one, boom, 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 boom. And I was always, me and Hillbill was always in the back.
Yeah.
We was always in the back. And that's how me and Hillbilly, we knew where we stood. We could tell, because we've been in a long time,
Sure,
so we could tell
absolutely.
by the position
Yeah.
that you put us in or where you want us to be. If you put me at the back of the land where nobody can see me, you don't want me to see you. You put me right up front. You look at every advertisement they did for that thing, Piper is right in the front of every one of them. And they put a lot of attention on him more so than the rest of us. How I kind of got my position because they wanted to create a villain. And I
Someone
was
that stirred the pot a little.
right, and they were trying to make me the bad guy because in the contract also, if there any physical contact, you would be automatically ripped from the program.
Really?
Without pay.
Really? Did it ever come close to any physical interaction?
Twice with me and Hacksaw.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
But he wasn't worth $9,000.
No, I don't think anyone was.
He wasn't worth it. But he tried to push my button. They wanted me to hit him. I know that.
Let me ask you this: did the producers try to encourage
Of course.
negative? Now, how would they do that?
Well, I remember the first time we were doing Chippendale. No, the first time we were with Gary Busey.
Right.
And Gary Busey asked us what we do,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when we're not wrestling. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I work with underprivileged kids. And I said, one of the problems with that I noticed from kids, I usually just think it was just from poor kids, but I found it with middle class kids, I found it with most all kids, is the lack of attention that they get and from the parents, because parents don't spend that much time with the kids anymore like in the older days.
Right.
Like you go to most houses, mother is in the room doing one thing, daughter is in the room doing another thing, father is over here doing something else, and they're all on machines and nobody's doing that, you know, like sitting at the dinner table like we do and we talk about our problems and stuff. I don't see that with these kids. So most of these kids, they get themselves in trouble.
Right.
In order to, and then Hacksaw out of nowhere said, well, charity starts at home. I'm going, what the hell that got to do with what I'm talking about? What am I saying wrong over here? And he kept pushing the button, charity starts at home. You know, you got to worry about your own kids. Don't worry about other people's kids. And I said, well, no, if you see a kid that needs help, it don't have to be your kid to help him.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you help any kid you can. They don't have to be yours to help them out. Like if I'm going to the beach and I'm taking my daughter to the beach, and I know this girl over here don't have a father or their parents, I would ask their parents, is it okay your daughter go along with my daughter to the beach? We're going to the beach. So we'd like to take your daughter with her. So I would offer that trip because I know that family can't afford to take that girl somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I would do for another kid just as quickly as I would do for my own. You know, it's a kid, and they all, you know, because people help me and all that. And he got mad at me for that. So, what Gary Busey had the best way to end it. He said, Hacksaw, you say what you're going to say? Hacksaw said, yes. Tony, you say what you're going to say? And I said, yes. He got, good, it's over. That's how he
Gary
did.
took charge?
That's what he did.
All
He
right.
said, you say what you're going to say? I said, yes. You say what you're going to say? Yes. Good, it's over.
Well, let me ask you this. You were in the same working environment, we'll call it, with Jim Duggan in WWE. You were in the same work. I remember you two both worked for Tony Rumble together over the years in the Century Wrestling Alliance.
But we didn't socialize.
Were you expecting to have negative interactions with him?
Never.
Really?
Just shocked the hell out of me. Because of what I was talking about. I was talking about working with underprivileged kids.
Yeah.
Now, how can you get mad at me for saying that?
I don't know how, but...
And then another time, we almost got into it after doing the Chippendale.
Yeah.
Him and Piper, they brought some beer in for us. Mm-hmm. And they set the beer down on the table. So Piper, you know, Hacksaw, we saw the beer, he jumped right up. You were the first one at the table. Hey, Piper, you want a beer? So then Piper comes. So Mean Gene is standing behind Hacksaw and Piper.
Little, yeah, okay.
They'll be standing there. I'm standing there. Everybody's standing, waiting patiently for them to move. They done got up against the table, laughing and joking, drinking a beer, blocking the beer from everybody
else.
Nobody could get a beer. So I reach around Hacksaw to get a beer. My elbow bumped him a little bit. Oh, I ain't afraid of you. I said, what in the hell is that all about? I said, brother, you get hit with chairs, you fall on concrete floor, and you're crying like a baby because my elbow bumped into
Was
you?
the elbow intentional?
No.
All right, you
no.
just wanted a cold
No,
one.
no, I was trying to get around him to get my beer.
Now, what were the two incidents where you two almost came to a fisticuff?
Well, that was it.
That was
one
of
with
them?
Gary Busey at the table where I talked about working with underprivileged kids. And another time was at the Chippendale when I bumped him with my elbow to get a beer.
And what happened at that point?
Well, the promoter came up to me, not the promoter, but one of the cameramen said,
yep.
do you think Hacksaw is racist? Is he racist? Is he racist? I said, I don't know if he's racist or not. I said, I think he's a little bit too sensitive about the elbow. But they were
stirring the pot. They wanted
right.
to get emotions out of you guys. I get it.
Well, see,
I try and do the same thing with you to get the best stories.
Well, no, but it's different with me because, see, what Vince miscalculated, it was not the same Tony Atlas.
It wasn't the 1984 Tony.
I would have knocked him on his ass.
Really?
I would fight in a drop of a hat.
Well, Jim Duggan was always considered a tough guy. You think
No,
you could have taken Jim Duggan?
I knew I would have.
Really?
I seen him fight Matt Bourne. I knew I could have took him. Brother, he never was a wrestler. I was 4 years state collegiate champion. I had 26 boxing matches. I lost 1 out of 26.
Wow.
I was in a street fight every day of my life from age 6 all the way up to age 20.
Wow.
I would have hurt him. I knew I would have. I teach mixed martial arts.
You teach mixed martial arts?
Yeah, sure do.
In present day?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a background in it.
Yep.
What do you teach?
I teach how to wrestle and how to box.
Really?
And how to put it together. Yep. I teach that. Yeah.
See, you never tell me these things
Yep.
when we talk on the phone.
All my wrestlers, Luke Roberts, everybody that ever worked for me, the first thing I taught them, I trained them the way I was trained. I taught them how to shoot first before I taught them how to work. See, in order they
Old
teach
school,
you,
yep.
right? Now they would teach you how to shoot first.
How to hook, yeah.
How to hook first. Then they would teach you how. Hacksaw is a football player.
Right. Different background.
Different background. Man's was boxing and wrestling. That's what I did. I boxed and I wrestled. That's what I did. I wasn't worrying about him. No. He had 2 shoulders operation.
That's true too.
He's over there doing
have a hard
shoulder
time
press.
getting his
He's
arms
doing
up.
shoulder press. He's doing shoulder press with during that time with 35-pound dumbbells. I'm doing shoulder press with 250 pounds.
Well,
I bench pressed 400. I was bench pressing 450 during that time. He couldn't handle me. I knew he couldn't. But in that contract, I knew what Vince wanted. He figured that I'm gonna be the old Tony Atlas. Well, I would just say, F it. And what he wanted now, I'm telling you what he wanted. Didn't get it though. That's why he didn't do a number 2. He wanted me to nail Hacksaw so he could fire me and not pay
you
me.
the $9,000.
And could you imagine how big that would have been?
For the show, yep. Yeah.
And everybody would have made money but me. And how I know what he did, because I'd done it before. I saw him doing that with people before. With David Shooks, he did that. Yep. I wish somebody would slap that guy.
All right. Well,
I almost got up to slap that. What was that reporter name?
John Stossel.
I almost done that.
You almost took out the hit on Stossel.
But David Shook beat me to the punch.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that in a future episode. That's kind of an interesting
story.
story.
Because once I left the wrestling business and became homeless, it humbled the hell out of me. And so it takes a lot
about that.
It takes a lot for me to be valid, and I'm not the type of person to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, I walked out on Vince. I was making good money. I'm making $300
Big
grand.
money.
300 grand. 300 grand. Me and Rocky, 350 some years. Me and Rocky was making real good money, and I walked out on that because when I used to get so angry that I didn't care. Mm-hmm. I didn't care. I would say, screw this. When I got my divorce, the lady wanted 75% of what I earned. The judge said she only entitled to 50% to be my wife. I got so angry, I tell them, screw it, let her keep it all. The guy looked at me and said, Tony, you're getting ready to throw away millions counting all your assets. He said, you got about a $1.5 million, dollars all together here. Then you go, screw it. I didn't care.
Wow.
I used to get so angry. I had such an issue with anger that I would get so angry. I don't care.
You needed Dr. David Reese back
I
in
needed him real
1984.
bad back there. So he figured that if you push Tony Atlas long enough and hard enough,
something will happen.
He was waiting for me to explode.
But you didn't give in.
No.
Lead us not
I
into
pulled out a
temptation.
357 Magnum in Madison Square Garden and started and chased everybody out the dressing room.
You did?
I used to carry a 357 Magnum with me.
Wait a minute. There was a WWF live event at Madison Square Garden.
No,
You
it was.
came-
Yep.
You came with a gun.
Yep.
And why did you chase everyone out of the locker room?
I was mad.
About what?
I don't know. I can't remember.
You don't remember anything?
I just know I was mad. I would black out when I get mad.
Really?
Yeah, I was that
Now,
type
was
of
it, I know
person.
at the time you did use drugs. Was it as a
No,
result of that?
no,
No, wasn't
no,
no drugs.
no,
Was it maybe roid
I was looking
rage?
like this with no drugs involved with this guy. Most of my drug use, believe it or not, started after I got out.
Really?
With the longest stretch. See, with me, the reason I got a bad reputation for drugs, that guy in that picture right there had a 4% body fat. There was no fat to store it. It went straight to my bloodstream. And it would dehydrate me. I would get severe muscle cramps the next day. Wow. They said, what happened to Tony? Oh, he got high last night.
And in
So
reality, it had nothing to do with it.
No, because them guys, because they had body fat, they could do it and get up the next morning and go.
And go, because they had something to absorb it, right?
They have fat to absorb it.
Yep.
With me, it always dehydrate me. But I wanted to fit in so bad, like what the doctor was saying.
Right.
A lot of you want to fit in.
Right.
So I did a lot of stuff just to be one of the boys. You got to realize everywhere I ever go, I'm the only black person. Everywhere I ever go. Since I was 20 years old, everywhere I go, I'm the only black person there.
And let me ask, a little step away from Legends House, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel like an outsider at all?
I had to learn.
I can't look through your eyes.
No,
What I had
to learn is how not to be black.
And how does one not become black?
You watch what white people do and you cater to them. You play stupid and dumb because white people hate a smart black man. You just play dumb around them. Become their punching bags.
Interesting.
That's how you get along with white people being black. You have to be less threatened to them.
Even now in 2018, or are we talking the 80s?
Right, because see, years and years ago in America, certain races of people taught of being superior to others.
Yeah.
So once I try to bring myself up to show that I'm just as smart or just as strong, that's when I got a problem. So I always have to I have to always downplay myself down a little bit. Because I always make fun of myself, not no one else. So I always had to downplay myself a lot.
Well,
and that's how I got along.
We've had our 2-hour conversations on the telephone, and I tell you, you are a very intelligent human being.
But you can't show that.
You have a lot of great thoughts, a lot of great insight, a lot of great observations.
You can't show
I don't think you should have
if
to
you look
dumb
at,
it down.
Well, no, if you look at all the entertainment, maybe not now, but all your entertainment that is really, really loved are comedians. All those that show any type of intelligence is hated. Why they hated Obama so much?
Well, we're really stepping away from Legends
No,
House.
it's all the
This
same
is
thing.
Legends House, not
yeah,
the
but
White
the same
House.
thing. No, it's wrestling. No, see, that's the thing I keep telling people. People always try to separate wrestling for. You got to realize we deal with the audience. We deal with people that are going to buy tickets. And one of the things, if you open up all the interviews, guys, they say, well, Tony may be a bench press 500 pounds, he may have muscle, but he ain't got no brains. And I had the perfect gimmick, big, strong, and dumb. I had to play dumb. And because of my being a Southerner and the way I pronounce my words and everything, it fit perfect. I hear Ole Anderson tell Skip Young, Sweet Brown Sugar.
Yeah, I know Skip Young.
Skip Young talked very plain. Mm-hmm. He had a good speaking voice. Ole Anderson pulled him over and I said, Skip, we're going to have to let you go unless you start to learn to talk more black. Skip said, what do you mean talk more black? He said, you ever hear Tony Atlas talk where he mispronounced words and sound like he got a mouth for potatoes, or you listen to Thunderbolt talk that jab? He said, you got to do one of them things. And every wrestler that could talk perfect, had a good voice back in the day, never made it to the top. It was always the same thing with Oriental wrestlers. I mean, Mr. Fuji in real life didn't talk like that.
Right, yeah.
But if he didn't get out there and talk like he could barely speak English, he had to project a certain Oriental, well, even the guy now.
Well, look at your good friend Mark Henry. Look at the situation he wound up in with.
The guy that do that. Well, that's why Mark didn't
Henry
get over.
And Michael Hayes, because Michael Hayes said to him, I've got more.
Yeah, but going back to Mark Henry, that would hurt Mark Henry. When Mark Henry talk, he don't sound what?
Like an African-American.
That's why they never pushed him in much.
Well, and he had a severe altercation with Michael Hayes.
Well, I don't think it was so much that, because it was the same way, like Ron Summers is known for saying, damn.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying?
Ron was another man right here in your chair.
but he had that certain thing.
Right, yeah.
See, wrestlers always believe in what's called stereotype. Because people really, in real life, don't socialize with each other in real life. They see each other in grocery stores, they see each other at stores, but then when they go home, they got their group they hang out with, this guy, their group they hang out with. Just like when you asked me about all these other wrestlers, I didn't hang out with these guys. You played them cliques. And it was, for a black guy to hang around with them white guys, I mean, you're going to be the butt of every joke. So I didn't hang around them. I didn't want to.
That makes sense.
Go somewhere.
That's one thing I can't. Look at
I didn't want to go somewhere, and I got to be the town clown, just to make these guys feel comfortable around me.
It makes a lot of sense the way you describe it.
Right.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: were there any good experiences living with Hacksaw? Any nice memory you have from those 6 weeks?
I don't have no bad memory.
Well,
it was
you
only
almost fought him twice. Those are positive.
Well, with wrestlers, it's over.
It's over quick. I'll give you that.
Yeah, we don't care grudges. It's over.
No hard feelings.
Move on.
All right.
Done.
Well, speaking of moving on, Tony, I hear the background music playing. We're going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Tony Atlas and 7 wrestling Hall of
Hey, you like my
Famers
legs?
living in a house. Please, enough with the feet. We'll be right back.
Dallas, this Monday, September 17th.
The Roman Empire is here.
The new era Monday Night Raw returns. Witness Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose reunite as The Shield when they collide with Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre in a massive 6-man tag team match. And
it's time to get rowdy.
Don't miss Ronda Rousey, Bobby Lashley, and many more. It's WWE Raw live in Dallas this Monday, September 17th. Tickets are available now.
Infinity Key, a truly natural online language training experience. 25,000 minutes. That's what you'll need to invest. Invest 25,000 minutes with Infinity Key, and we'll build you a portfolio of language experiences designed to accelerate your personal progress. The coach will help you strike the right balance between passive acquisition and active application of your target language. InvestKey's algorithms and coaches guide you along the clearest, quickest path forward on your journey to fluency. Visit www.infinitykey.rocks for more information, and follow Infinity Key on Facebook at facebook.com/InfinityKey.
Portland on Saturday, October 20th.
Burn it down!
Experience WWE Live with an epic main event as Dean Ambrose returns to team up with Seth Rollins as they take on Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre in a tag team match. Plus, the B-Team and the Revival collide for the Raw Tag Team Championship. And don't miss Finn Balor and many more. It's WWE Live in Portland, Saturday, October 20th. Tickets and VIP packages are available.
Stephanie came in the dressing room where I would have had me in the dressing room where couldn't nobody see me. And that was my first time ever meeting her, but she said she met me when she was a little girl, but I can't remember. And treated me so nice, and they told me what they wanted to do. Even when I was doing it, I wasn't for sure what divas were. I slept in cars, all because I didn't have enough money to get myself a motel room. So they came back and they said, Barber said, please do the job for John Ace. I said, nope, I ain't doing it. And they Abdullah them, come on, go on and do the job for it. It ain't gonna hurt you, go on and do the job. I said, fuck you too.
It's the biggest event in live entertainment.
Welcome to WrestleMania!
But it doesn't come together overnight. Now, we've chronicled the journey of this incredible in-depth look at the year-long life cycle of WWE's biggest event. Go behind the scenes and get the inside stories straight from some of WWE's biggest superstars with exclusive candid interviews you won't find anywhere else. Creating the Mania, an inside look at how WrestleMania comes to life. Available now.
Wrestling fans, welcome back to more Memories and Legends. I'm Dan Marotti, joined once again by my longtime friend. Right there, look at that. The only thing he loves more than those muscles are those shoes, but that's a different story for a different time. Tony, we're talking Legends House on this edition. We talked about Jim Duggan, but that was just one of 7 housemates that you had. Roddy Piper got a lot of attention. Unfortunately, Roddy has passed away.
Right.
He's the only deceased member of the Legends House crew. What was it like living with Roddy Piper, a man that you worked with a lot back in the 80s, but you didn't really know all that well personally? What was it like living with him in the Legends House?
I'll tell you, meeting and being in Legends House with Roddy Piper was one of my, outside of Hillbilly Jim and Jimmy Hart, was, I would say, my best experience there. Because I got to see things about Roddy Piper that most people don't know. Most people don't know that Roddy Piper is a very talented in playing any instrument. He played piano. He played anything. Any instrument he could play. I never knew how talented he was.
Did he entertain you guys?
He would get on the piano. He could play anything on the piano. He had great talent. He should have been in music. I think he mixes, when you hear him play. I'll tell you something else that surprised me too. I'm skipping on the play. Pat Patterson, he gave me a tape. Pat Patterson sung
My Way, no?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's what he's known
about,
for.
About Frank Sinatra, and if you close your eye, you swear up and down it's Frank. I mean, he got a voice that you would not freaking believe.
Pat Patterson's a karaoke king.
Yeah, never knew that
about it. Never knew that? Really?
Never knew that until I hear him sing. I couldn't believe when I hear him say golden voice. Then I see Hillbilly Jim and Jimmy Hart could sit down and write a song.
Oh, I tell you, they came up with some great music in the mid-'80s for the WWE albums that they released. The first
they are
wrestling
amazing.
album and Pile Driver back in '87.
I could not.
Yeah.
I would say the only person there that had absolutely no talent at all.
Howard Finkel.
And Mean Gene.
Other than his drinking, he had no talent.
No talent.
But he had talent with.
He had a great voice.
Mean Gene.
His voice is
he sang?
Yeah, he could sing.
Really?
He had a great voice.
What would Mean Gene sing?
Well, it's deep, heavy. If you watch Legends House, they did a series on the last episode.
Yeah.
And he was the bass player. He had a hell of a bass voice, which I didn't know. But the only person I did not see do anything that was out on there was just Howard. Yeah. But I was really impressed with a lot of things that I seen of these guys that I never knew. I mean, all this stuff with Piper Pitt, nobody knew that man could play the piano like that.
Let me ask you this.
He could play guitar, he could play any instrument.
One of the talents that you had that you showed off was your great cooking ability, where you sometimes were portrayed as a villain on Legends House on WWE Network. Were your culinary skills something that, quote unquote, got you over with your housemates a little bit?
Yeah.
You did a lot of the cooking.
I did all the cooking.
Talk about that a little.
Well, see, my mama raised 9 kids by herself. Mm-hmm. She went to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, got off at 2, went back at 3, and worked until 11.
Wow.
5 days a week.
Hard-working lady.
5 days a week. But they didn't have no welfare then. No public assistance like they do now. So when you had a baby, you had to take care of it. You had to work there. But lucky for us, my grandmother was our babysitter. So our grandmother stayed at the house. But my grandmother was very, very old, you know. She was like, around 80, late 80s, early 90s, you know, before back I can remember. And she forgot how old she was. Every time I said, Grandma, how old are you this year? It's her birthday. I'm 90. A year later, Grandma, how old are you? It's your birthday. I'm 90. She got stuck on 90. She never left 90. Never left 90.
I'm surprised she didn't say 89 like a lot of
No,
women
she
would.
got, once she hit 90, she didn't get no older than 90. She stopped right there.
90's
For
the new
mentally,
80, I
whatever.
guess.
But anyway, my mother used to come home in that 1 hour, and she would write down the recipe of how to cook things.
Really?
And she didn't have time to cook for us. She went to work at 7 in the morning, got off at 2, went back at 3, and worked until 11 at night.
Wow.
So by the we was in bed when Mom came home.
Right.
We didn't see our mother during the day. The only time I saw my mom was like on Saturday, because she worked until 1 o'clock on Saturdays, which I saw on a Saturday, and then I saw her Sunday, because Sunday she wouldn't work, because back then it was what's called a Sabbath. She was a Christian, so we went to church every Sunday. And they wanted her to work on Sunday, but she never did. So she taught all her boys how to cook. So I've been cooking ever since I was a kid. I know how to fix anything.
Another great skill that you showed off on Legends House was something we've seen here in this very studio, your great artwork.
Yep, that's always been my therapy.
Now talk to us about why you have such a great passion for art, how long you've been drawing for, and I mean, you've put together some amazing pieces.
When I'm drawing, it's like taking a volume. It totally relaxes me.
Really?
I can sit and draw, and I feel like I'm on a beach somewhere with the cool breeze blowing through my hair.
Now, what do you like so much about the drawing?
It relaxes me. It's a great relaxer. S.D. Jones used to go to a store. When I ride with him, he used to keep an art pad in his car.
Mm-hmm.
And when I no, for me.
He kept it for you in his car?
Yeah, when I used to get angry. When I used to get angry.
And he'd give you the pad?
Yeah, he would ask me to draw something for him. And so I started drawing, it would calm me right down. It's like it's a calm, it keep me calm.
Now, if I remember right, you made some kind of a drawing or a painting on the show, and it was auctioned off for charity and got quite a bit of money.
Yeah. That's what I do. When I get upset about something, I draw, and it would just calm me right on down, just right away.
Did you have a lot of situations where you had to draw around
Oh,
Legends
yeah,
House?
yeah.
Now, what bothered you so much? Other than Jim Duggan, was there anyone that got under your skin a little bit, or?
But Jim didn't really get under my skin.
You got under his skin.
Well, it was a shock of everything. I mean, I couldn't talk about helping underprivileged kids. I don't see why that would make a person mad. And then, as much as he's been bumped in the ring and hit with chairs and 2x4s and everything else, I don't see where a little scraping elbow. So I think the two incident was instigated by. I just think, I always get, I could be wrong. Been there many times before, so one more time ain't gonna hurt nothing. So I think that he was kind of prompt to do that.
Pushed by the production people?
Yeah, get Tony going, get Tony going, but I took a weapon.
Took a weapon?
I had a weapon.
What was the weapon? The pad and paper?
When we have an argument, you watch what I would do.
Right.
Right away, I would leave and I would start doing what?
Drawing. Yeah, I remember you guys
I took my weapon.
You had to film a commercial for, I think it was like flamingos you'd put on the front lawn, and you didn't want any part of that.
No, they wouldn't listen to me.
What do you mean?
Well, they came up with this idea. You ever been hit with, this was their first idea. They want to take the flamingos and throw it at each other. I said, brother, them things hurt. No, Tony, no. Everything I say, no. Everything I say. So finally I said, okay, y'all do it your way. So Piper threw, this was not on camera, he threw one of them damn flamingo.
At you?
And he threw it at Howard and nearly knocked him out.
Why does that not surprise me?
He nearly knocked Howard out. Howard laying on the ground holding his head. I said, keep throwing them things. And then they said, okay, Tony, my way was we sat there and I took tape and I taped the rubber, baby.
I remember, yeah.
That was my idea. I said, you got to make it comical. You got to let people know you're having fun with it. It got to be like a party having fun. And they said, oh, no, we wrestlers. What was your Piper idea was that we go out there and we get a fighting over the flamingo. Who's going to get the flamingo for the party? And start hitting each other. These things hurt. So Dave didn't listen to me until they got hit with that flamingo. The thing I didn't want no power was the art thing, because I knew them guys. There were too many egos in that. They said, oh, let Tony be in charge of the art. I said, oh, no. Y'all do what you want to do, because I know they're going to fight. Sure enough, I was right. They stood over there for 20 minutes fighting about what they're going to draw. And then they finally convinced me to draw them something. So what I did, I work with kids. So what I do to get kids to draw, I would draw different clowns with different faces. A happy clown, a sad clown, a crying, different faces of clowns. And then, because they can't draw, so I figured if I draw a clown, they could just color them. And that was my idea. So they decided, they asked me, they kept telling me, Tony, tell them what to do. So I told them what to do. I even drew them some picture. Then they came up with their own idea anyway, with the handprints.
And whose drawing generated the most money for charity at that art show?
Believe it or not, it was a drawing that one of the guys did that just threw paint on it.
Who made that one?
I can't remember who did it. They just
better than yours? It made more money than yours?
Yeah, they threw paint all over the place. They just threw the paint on that and they drew more money. And then the handprint was a big one too, because all the guys signed it, the autograph.
Yeah, the autographs, I can see that.
But the one they showed most of it was my drawing of the clown face, because that was the only thing in there that was art. The rest was just, like Piper stood there and just started throwing paint on the thing, and they paid a lot of money for it. They told him how great he was. I go, what are they talking about?
Now, you guys were in that house 7 days a week for 6 weeks. How often were the cameras in your face?
24/7.
They had camera people there overnight?
No.
They had cameras installed in the walls?
Yep. And that damn thing followed you, too.
Now, what about camera people? How long would they be there for?
Just during the day. But during the night, the cameras, you never off camera.
So in your bedroom, you had a camera on you all night?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I used to mess with it.
Did it make you feel kind of strange?
No, I fell asleep, but I used to mess with that camera a lot. They got some shots there that is X-rated.
Oh.
I would moon them every morning.
You'd moon them?
Every morning.
Well, it's not a sunrise, I guess.
No,
right?
It was the dark side of the moon, brother. I did it every morning. I said, you want to show something? Yeah, I would get up every morning and moon them every morning.
You are the
They didn't show that, though.
No, they did not show that.
No, they didn't show that, no.
Not in this day and age, I guess, right? Everything's
Then
going
we
to be
was in the water.
Little two-piece.
We did a thing in the water?
Yeah.
I pulled my trunks down to my ankle. I would walk around here, no trunks on.
In the water or outside of the pool?
No, inside the pool.
Oh, all right. I don't know.
I would walk around with no trunks on in that pool. I would pull them down to my ankles and walk around in the pool.
Well,
I got my hair mean dreams. You watch that thing, boy. What you doing there? He was scared to death. I said, I'm going to push you. He really pushed me. You get away with that.
Did Mean Gene say I'm going to need a drink after?
Oh, yeah. He wanted to kill me. But they didn't show that.
Yeah. Well,
because we got goofy out in the wild, we started doing crazy things,
Look
we
at
just
it.
got
Guys,
that goofiness sets in on us.
You're talking about you were there for 6 weeks,
we got
42
real goofy.
days. There were only 9 episodes. So
Yeah.
there must be a ton of great footage that they didn't use.
They got a lot of good stuff. The real good stuff they never showed. That's what made a lot of us mad.
Give me an example.
Well,
Was there a certain trip or something like that didn't make the
Oh,
final
yeah, a
cut?
lot of stuff they cut. I watched some of the program. I didn't see the whole program, but a lot of guys that seen the whole program said they left out a whole bunch of
Really?
stuff. Yeah,
Was there a trip you can think of that they didn't put in?
Where they show portions of it.
Yeah.
You never saw the whole incident. Like we were doing that polo in the go-kart, they didn't show all of it.
Well, they had to edit it down to the 30-minute intervals.
Yeah, they didn't
however
show
long
me
it
beating
was,
up the golf cart because it wouldn't start. So I jumped on it. They never showed that.
I tell you, Tony.
I beat up the golf cart.
I believe
and
you.
they never showed it.
They never showed it?
Never showed it.
They didn't want to show off those guns and put them over, I'm telling you.
No. I beat that golf cart, flipped it over and everything.
Were there any guys in the house that got annoyed by being under surveillance constantly by the cameras? Or did they...
Piper was annoyed for the first day.
Why?
He just didn't like it.
He didn't like it?
He didn't like it.
Why was he allowed to leave to go and do an autograph show?
He's Piper.
I mean, did anyone else leave during the show?
No, you get fired. He was Roddy Piper.
He must have negotiated that when he came in there.
He's Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
That's one thing about wrestling business. One wrestler could do something, no problem. Another wrestler do it, problem.
Depends where you are on the food chain.
It depends on who you are on that food chain. And Piper was in a position where he could do things that we couldn't do.
Towards the end of the series, you guys, I don't know if it was pushed upon by the production people, but to really kind of open up to each other in a farewell-type dinner. Everybody had some interesting stories. I know you in the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, kind of had an emotional moment when he came out with the fact that his daughter had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something that you guys knew was coming?
I didn't know. I didn't even know his daughter did. I didn't know that about him.
So how did that come about, Jimmy telling you that his daughter
He just started
had passed?
talking, you know, we were talking about our family and stuff, and I was telling them my daughter's having a birthday and everything. I said, Jimmy, you got kids, don't you? He said, yeah. He got real sad.
Oh.
And he started crying. I said, what did I say? See, I started talking about my daughter. And then when I started mentioning my daughter, then Jimmy got teary-eyed, and then the guy said, none of the guys would tell me, so I asked Jimmy, what's wrong? He said, well, you know, he told me the whole story about how he lost his daughter. So I told Jimmy, I said, Jimmy, I'll tell you something. Of all the tough men in this place, you are the toughest guy here.
I couldn't imagine.
I said, I don't know
imagine.
what you're going through. I couldn't think of what I would be, how I could live with losing. You know, I never lost a child. You know, we always looking for our kids to bury us. We're not looking to bury our kids.
Well, you know, I'd take any pain, any disease.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know how
he
he's able to smile, and he buried this.
He's always a cheerful guy too.
But Smokey Robinson, the tears of a clown. So he was able to let this out, and then he would turn right around and he put on that face for the fans.
Yeah.
And deep down inside, he's burning up inside.
Did it make you feel a little good that he confided in you?
Yeah.
Do you feel you became a little closer with him as a result of that?
And me and him the best of friends right now because of that.
I know you mentioned that he contacted you not too long ago.
Yeah, he wanted me to.
With Hulk.
He wanted me to come down to be with Hulk Hogan there.
Well,
for the event, but that really made me respect him. Or I would say one of the best things that happened to me in Legend House was that I had one friend, and he's my friend now. He calls me about once a month. Hillbilly Jim, the guy.
You guys became closer.
I could not believe how close me and Hillbilly. He protected me, looked after me, and they did not invite him to WrestleMania because he would not badmouth me.
Oh,
in the reunion show.
Yeah.
Remember they was asking them, what you think of Tony? And each one had something to say.
He didn't?
And he said, well, once you get to know Tony, he's an okay guy. And when he said that, they invited all the wrestlers that was in Legend House to WrestleMania, except for me and Hillbilly.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow. I tell you, want to know a funny thing, Tony? You're not going to remember this, but I am. In March of 1994, about 3 or 4 streets away, you and Hillbilly Jim were on the same show for Tony Rumble. In the school that I went to. Isn't that funny? Well, apparently not. You're not laughing, but I remember.
Was Cousin Luke there?
Yes.
I got that picture.
Do you?
I got a picture.
Well, see,
me
you
and
do
Cousin
remember
Luke.
it then.
Yeah,
Cool.
Now I think about it, yes, right, because me and him got a picture together in the dressing room.
I was in the 9th.
And we was in the Battle Royal in Chicago in WrestleMania 2
WrestleMania 2, right.
That's right. Yeah.
I was in the 9th grade at the time, and I had started to work with Tony through the studio, as a matter of fact, and it was such a big thrill to have wrestling come to the school. And, you know, you were there, Hillbilly, Cousin Luke, Bill Eadie, Demolition Axe, Honky Tonk, Snooker. It was a really cool night for me way back in March of 1994, and here we are, still at this studio chatting away. Isn't it interesting?
And I'm still around.
You're still around? I hope you're around for another 25. What would that make you? Another 25?
That'd be 100.
Now, it wouldn't be quite 100 yet.
Yes, I would.
You'd be pushing 90, though.
No, I'd be more than that.
No, 25 years from now? Mm-hmm. You must be aging in dog years then or something like that.
I'm a lot older than you think.
I don't know about that, Tony. All right, continuing on with the Legends House. Howard Finkel, an interesting character in wrestling lore. I think he's the greatest announcer of all time. I just love this. Maybe it's because he was the announcer when I was a kid, and I remember it being so big.
That's because you didn't know Gordon Soley.
Well, Gordon Soley was a commentator. He didn't do the introductions.
Yeah, but he was good.
Gordon Soley was great.
Yeah.
I don't dispute that. But Howard's big reveal on this episode was that he was bullied, and he got really emotional about it. It was not maybe as severe as some of the other revelations on this episode, but What was it like for poor Howard? He's, you know.
Well, with Howard, when you got to realize, when I first met Howard, he only weighed about 130 pounds.
Really?
He was
he's
small.
Put on a little
Look at all the
then.
pictures. Look at all the pictures, early pictures. He was a very small guy.
Yeah.
And like most small guys, they get picked on a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and he got picked on because he was small. That's probably why he bulked up the way he did. He wanted to get bigger.
Yeah.
To be around these big guys.
Maybe get it the wrong way.
Yeah, big guys always pick on little guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was surprised that he got bullied a lot too. You know, but when you look at earlier pictures of Howard, he was not that big.
Much thinner.
Yeah, real. I would say maybe not 130, but I would say maybe 150, 160.
Yeah, he was a slight guy. If nothing else.
Yeah. Look at the early pictures.
Did you ever notice over the years that the guys would maybe rib Howard a lot? Because he was often known as kind of an office stooge. I know a lot of the guys off camera have told me some stories about him where he hasn't been well liked. I can only go by my own personal interactions with him, and I think Howard's an awfully nice guy.
I like Howard a lot. But Howard and me always got along because I was always nice to him.
Yeah.
I never
You didn't rib him?
No, I didn't mess with Howard. No. I didn't. I didn't see no need. You know, at that time, I was 286 pounds, bench pressing 650 pounds. Now, what glory I'm going to get out of picking on a 150-pound little ring announcer?
Right. Exactly. You'd have to be a real bully.
I mean, I mean...
What satisfaction would you get?
I mean, I didn't see the need of that. I didn't bully nobody. I mean, but they had guys that, you know, that's how they would pick the weakest link, and they would just go after them, you know. And the guys had to take it. Like Mel Phillips got ribbed a lot.
Mel Phillips deserved a lot more than a heck of a lot of ribbing. Someone sending me a signal, and I have absolutely no idea what they're saying, Tony. I cannot see. I have no idea who the human being is. I don't know if it's a fan. I see fives. All right, we'll go with that.
Mel Phillips was a...
Mel Phillips was a scumbag.
No.
Mel Phillips deserves to be in jail.
No, Mel Phillips never did anything that he wasn't... I was there. I ain't going to get into that, but Mel Phillips...
Oh, yeah, well, you know, I'm putting the sheet of paper down now. I got to get this, Tony.
Yeah, Mel Phillips was the guy that... he was... how do I want to put this?
I can think of some terms.
His job was to do what he was told. Let's put it that way.
His job was to do what he told.
They could not go get it themselves, so they were sending him to go get it for them. Yeah.
I think we're talking about two different things.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I think this will make for a
because
great
that case,
episode.
the reason I don't want to talk about because that case is still pending.
Tony, it was in 1992. The case is not pending.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It was over and done with.
That ain't over with.
It is over with.
Is statute of limitations run out on that?
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years and no more.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
we all
not
knew.
on Legends House. But oh my God, Tony.
But we knew what we all knew what he did. We was there. We knew what he went and got it from, not for himself. Okay.
Well, all right.
You know that.
Well,
you know that he didn't get
someday.
it. He didn't get it. He didn't get it for himself. We knew he got it for. We saw him going in the rooms.
Sometimes people
it wasn't mail room.
Sometimes people say to me, "What are you going to talk to Tony about when he comes back to the studio?" I have decades worth of shows that you and I can sit here and do. There's such a vault of experiences and information and stories and whatnot that you have in that brain. And I tell you, that's one. Knock on wood, you'll be healthy enough. We'll have to have a talk about that.
I'll tell you about it off camera.
All right, well, let me ask you this one. Mean Gene, his big reveal was that his wife gave him a kidney. With the amount of adult beverages that Mean Gene Okerlund has consumed in his life, I can only imagine what that kidney must have looked like when they took it out of him. What was the blood alcohol level of the kidney?
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. He got drunk every night, and who said it? One of the wrestlers, I can't remember which one it was.
He's not a young guy either.
Well, they say it's a shame that his wife sacrificed a kidney for him, and he's destroying that one.
Destroying the
guy
second
would say he's
one.
destroying that. He's destroying that one too.
Not even to be funny, but can someone have another kidney replaced? Let's just say he withers through this one.
That one probably as bad as the one that his wife gave him. So she gave him a kidney for nothing. It was like it's almost like slapping her in the face with it.
What was Mean Gene's beverage of choice? Do you remember?
Anything wet.
I'd love to have Mean Gene here. I think that would be a lot of fun.
If it's wet, he's gonna drink it.
Pat Patterson's big reveal was he was gay, which was about saying that the sky was blue. That was something I had known 20-some-odd years. I don't think that came out as much of a secret, but in news outlets like TVGuide.com and things like that, they portrayed that as a big reveal.
Well,
that was not a secret, though, to the guys.
Well, see, wrestlers are like this. Matt Darvashawn made a statement one time. If a story is worth telling, it's worth embellishing. So with
How
us,
do you embellish that you're gay?
Well, see, but that's the thing about us wrestlers. When you tell us something, unless we actually witness it ourselves, we don't know if you being honest. Now, I never saw him doing any type of homosexual activity. I knew he was a hell of a wrestler, one of the best.
Yep.
Outstanding. Him and Ray Stevens, the crippler. I wrestled against Pat. He never made a pass at me or anything. He never showed me anything to point me in that direction. I hear things, but with us wrestlers, unless we witness it ourselves or experience it ourselves, we take it with a grain of salt. So even though people hear the rumor, they never
don't know for sure.
Right, we didn't really know for sure if
But he didn't keep it a secret.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He kept it a secret.
Yeah, he was pretty, he didn't mess around with the boys. He didn't do nothing.
I'm not saying that he messed around with the boys, but I didn't know that it was kind of still hush-hush.
Well, guys hear
well
things,
known, I thought.
but he never gave any indications, as I would say. When he was in the dressing room,
he wasn't flamboyant about it.
No, none of that. None of that. He would make jokes and stuff,
sure.
You know, homosexual jokes and stuff. But all the boys did.
Yeah.
You know, we all clown around like that.
It's like Peter Pan. It's a bunch of guys that don't want to grow up. It's a lot of fun for the most part, outside of the politics and the money.
But we the type of guys that, you know, when I talk about it, I always talk about what I experienced. Because you can't, you know, you believe half what you hear, but all of what you see.
Yeah.
And if I didn't see him do this, then I'm not going to be the one to say that he does it when I can't have no proof that he did it. Everything I tell you, I know, like the Mel Phillip thing, I know I seen something, so I know what he did what he was told, okay? And he took the heat for all that.
Yeah.
That's how they got off. He probably got a lot of money in like little suitcase or something on the side there.
He got a ring, I know that. They gave him a ring and they basically said, sayonara, folks.
Yeah, but he probably still
received it. I'm getting a signal. I think that's a homeless goat over there, Tony. I'm not sure.
Yeah, ain't no
he
telling what
jingles.
he
It almost
got
sounds
out of
like a
that deal.
dog when he's coming in the room.
Yeah, no
There's
telling what he got out of
keys.
that deal, but I know he saved their bacon.
All right, well, Tony, one more before we start to wrap up. Hacksaw Jim Duggan's big revelation was that he was in a car crash that killed his girlfriend in the Mid-South Territory.
Mm-hmm.
You were actually had a match with him the night that this death took place.
Mm-hmm. He was so drunk couldn't get in the ring.
So before this accident happened, you two had a match down in, I think it was Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
Take us back to that night.
Well, he come running in the dressing room. I mean, he come in the parking lot, and we were dressing. The building was the dressing room was upstairs. So we heard this squeal in the car. Squeal! So JYD, Junkyard Dog, said, "Oh boy, here you go." So we all looked out the window. He threw the car door open and got out the car with no shirt on, standing in the lobby, like this, and left the car running, left the door open. So Grizzly Smith, Jake the Snake Father, had to save somebody down to move the car, because right in the middle, he just pulled right in the middle of the parking lot. Right. You know, he didn't park it, I just drove right up the building. And came in where he tried to get in the ring. He kept missing the step. And the crowd got so much into it, every time he missed a step, the crowd would go, "Whoa."
Not ho.
Whoa.
Whoa, okay.
Whoa, because he kept missing a step.
Yeah.
So Fatty Gritter said, "Tony, he's never going to get in the ring." The referee said, "You're never going to get in the ring. You got to get out and get him." So I rolled out the ring, grabbed him, and threw him back in the ring. And finally, I called a little spot. I threw him in the rope. I dropped there. He's supposed to jump on me. He tripped and fell back out the ring again. It started all over again, tried to get in the ring. Whoa, because he was out of it. I mean, he was drunk. And back then, the guy used to drink what they call that Jack Daniels.
Yep.
And
Still
him and
Jack
all the guys,
Daniels,
they had this gimmick they used to do, the Freebird and all them. They would take a whole thing of Jack Daniels, and they would turn it up and just drink the whole bottle without stopping.
Wow.
That was their gimmick.
Wow.
You know, they would challenge you to do it. So every guy would take the challenge, and they would drive afterwards. Right after they done that, they did get in the car, they would drive. So the only way they wanted me to lose to him. So what I did, once I got him in the ring, I held on to him. So I rolled him in the ring and held on to him, and then I got up and fell back with him and held him on me. And that's the only way I could lose to him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know where in the world was at. Then JYD told me the next day, he said, you hear what happened to Hexler? I said, no. He said, well, he was in a car accident. I said, is he okay? They said, he's okay, but his girlfriend got killed.
Wow. Isn't that sad?
Yep. I remember when Curry Von Erich ran into the back of a parked police car and lost his foot and killed a girl on the bike.
Oh, I didn't know when that incident happened. He had a girl on the bike with him. Really? I only knew about, that he lost his foot, obviously. Wow. So that's, a drunk driver almost did me in back when I was with the Sheik. So it looks like
there's a lot
Jim
of stuff.
Duggan learned the hard way
back
too.
in the day, there was a lot of stuff that happened with wrestlers and stuff like that. That it was such a closed society.
There was no internet.
And it was closed society.
It was a kayfabe industry.
The boys didn't talk to fans. They talked to each other, but not to fans. But to each other, but not to fans.
All right, Tony, we're running out of time here on Memories and Legends, another great episode. I got to ask you, Tony, is there any good memories other than that $9,000 check that you took home back in Auburn, Maine from your experience on Legends House? You made a nice relationship with Hillbilly Jim?
Every day there was a good experience.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it.
Would you do it again?
Oh, hell yeah.
Really?
I love every minute of it.
Oh, it didn't seem like that. So
I don't have no, see, let me try to explain wrestlers real quick to you.
All right, sure.
I got a match in Madison Square Garden. As soon as that match is over, I'm thinking about my next match. Not the one I just finished. That match is over.
I got you.
That's why wrestlers is that a way in real life. As soon as that is over with, we move on.
Well, my job I need to try and bring you back in time to get those memories and experiences.
Well, we could tell you the story, but as far as having emotion, the emotion for that is gone. The anger, if I had anger during that day, once that day passed, the anger go with that day.
What about happy?
We always happy.
All right, well, I'll take the look at that, Tony. All right, the Undertaker's coming, I guess.
We're more happy than we are sad.
All right, we're running out of time, folks, here on Memories and Legends. We got big episodes coming this fall. Some really interesting topics we're going to touch on next time, Tony. Visit BostonWrestling.com. If you're in the Boston area, come on down. We must have, Tony, it looks like about 275 people with us here tonight live. It's a hell of a crowd we have with us. We have a lot of fun. You get to meet Tony. We have some other folks that are going to be coming in this summer and fall. Again, for this guy that's in every Hall of Fame known to mankind, I'm Dan Marotti. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours be well. I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Let us tell you how the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation can help raise cash for your nonprofit cause. Experience the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation live in your city, throughout New England, the tri-state area, down through the Carolinas, out to our friends in the Midwest and beyond.
If your nonprofit organization is looking for an interactive turnkey experience while putting the fun into fundraising, you've met the perfect tag team partner to work with every step of the way.
The MWF offers a variety of packages for groups of almost any size, from our live events at the Boston Garden, the Kowloon Entertainment Dining Complex, and the legendary Suffolk Downs, to high school gyms and function halls. We've presented live events everywhere and anywhere.
Since 2001, the MWF's mission has been simple: keep the kids off the streets. Under the leadership of President David Reese, we bring the superstars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow to your town. Not for a wrestling show, but an event that features action-packed in-ring wrestling, autograph, pose photo opportunities, Q&A sessions, and so much more. It's the best of sports and entertainment. The week of your event, we can add on to the endeavor with anti-bullying campaigns, library meet and greet reads, youth sport concussion seminars, and more.
Our live events are fit for fans of any age from 5 to 95. This fall is part of our new Kids Club program. We offer live event experiences exclusively for the youngest of fans. On the flip side, we can produce a tailor-made event for fans of an older demographic as well. We work with you every step of the way to get the word out to fans near and far on our local television offerings and to over 50,000 fans and growing on our social media platforms.
Your success is our success. If your group has had enough of candy bar and wrapping paper sales and has the energy to team with our passionate fan base, bringing the NWF experience to your community is the answer to put smiles on faces while raising cash for your cause.
Contact us today to get the ball rolling for your custom-made event that you'll want to bring back year after year to your community.
Don't just take it from us. Here are the folks we've teamed up with in the past.